in order to share and hear these glories. Today also happens to be Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day according to the English calendar, 14th November 1977. So the 47th anniversary. What better time to glorify such an Acharya Srila Prabhupada through the Guruvashtakam. Hare Krishna. So, we will go straight into verse 3 because recap, we don't have that much time. Those who have missed, then they can go online. They have been nicely recorded by GEV and try to catch up. That way, it will do justice time-wise. We will not be having classes tomorrow and Sunday, which were originally scheduled at 11 a.m. to 12. Because of the management, the devotees at the Bhaktivedanta Vidyapit have some seva. Being it a weekend, they are very nicely serving the community, and for that reason. So, yes, Prabhu?
In case if someone is still available from tomorrow 11 to 12 and Vidyapit is not there, still it can go ahead if people are ready.
Oh, if they are ready, I am ready.
Because Vidyapit specifically has others who
yes, Prabhuji, yes. So we can do. And my principle in general, which I even shared this morning, is it is not the number of persons. Quantity is not important. Quality is. How many are really deeply interested in our scriptures, subject matters? I can understand that, seva is of paramount importance. And those who have seva, certainly, why do we chant? To get seva. So if you have seva, then one should not neglect it. We should always, the important thing is make sure that we follow the management rules and regulations. And like in this today's world, with the advanced technology, everything is available online. So you all can at your own leisure. But as much as possible, offline classes in person is better in general, because the interaction is there, the inspiration is there. When we see each other face to face, then it helps. Not only the listeners, but also the speaker is inspired. When we see the enthusiasm of the assembled devotees. So all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Towards the end, you can just check out whoever is according to
So we can even do it now, quickly, unless there are more coming. But out of you all, how many will be available for tomorrow? Depending on that, even if it's one person, I have no problem. As an example. So how many of will be available from 11? There's one Prabhuji back there. 2. You, Radha Madan Gopal? Yeah, you are all available. Prabhuji, you are available. Okay. So the class is on. And Sunday also. Okay. So then the continuity will remain, and hopefully I'll be able to finish all 8 verses. So whoever is in charge of the media, please make a note. Thank you. So we finished the first 2 verses. Samsara Davana Lida Loka Tranaya Karunya Ghanaganatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunar Navasya Vande Guruho Sri Charanaravindam Mahaprabhu Kirtan Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyan Manaso Rasena Romanchakam Pashrutaram Gabhajo Vande Guruho Sri Charanaravindam. Now, just one very important point that I had made earlier this morning when we started the class, in this Astakam, 8 verses, every time there is a repetition of this line, the Vande Guruho Sri Charanaravindam, so it is plural. Sometimes I mentioned in the morning that some devotees sing as Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. So that is kind of a little pronunciation mistake that a lot of devotees make, and then that will lead to that consciousness. It is only meant for my Guru. But here Guruho means plural. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's initiating Guru is Sripad Radha Raman Chakravarti Thakur. But he is not thinking just of him. He is thinking of all the entire Gaudiya Guru Parampara especially the Rupanugas in the line of Rupa Goswami. So we should also, very important, I even explained the reason behind it based on the mood of Narottam Das Thakur in the bhajan, Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Karo More, Tuma Vina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsare. The last stanza, Daya Karo Sri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas, Ramchandra Sangamange Narottam Das. So Ramchandra Kaviraj was his great grand nephew. When he left his body, he was inspired to compose this bhajan Sri Krishna Chaitanya in Vaishnava Viraha, Vilapa Janita. That is this bhajan was composed. So much love. Although not a direct disciple, but so much love. Not a direct God brother, but so much love. Actually, we are all God brothers and God sisters because we have all taken ashray of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. So I mentioned that the joint family system in India, where one child is born, he gets so much love from all the uncles staying under the same roof, all the aunties, all the senior cousins, all of them, so much love. So if we just confine ourselves to one initiating spiritual master, whom we sometimes hardly get darshan throughout the year, maybe once, twice, those who are lucky, or 1 or 2 minutes. Other than that, how do we advance in Krishna consciousness? Is through our Siksha Gurus. And we are so fortunate that we have such a huge joint family in ISKCON. We have so many wonderful Siksha Gurus that we can take Siksha. And so many senior Vaishnavas, even in the second generation, that we can take Siksha, guidance to advance in Krishna consciousness. So that pakshpat or that prejudice should not be there, that this is my God brother, God sister. They are not. That kind of mentality is not acceptable, especially. And we mentioned also in the morning that on the altar, who do we have? Srila Gaur Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj is the Siksha disciple of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the Siksha disciple of Srila Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, not the initiation. So in our parampara, the verdict is that Shiksha is more prominent than Diksha. Diksha is important, of course, don't get me wrong, but in Bhagavad Parampara, Shiksha has a lot of prominence. So we should, like Jiva Goswami was not the Diksha disciple of, not the Diksha Guru of Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya and Shyamanand Pandit, but they diligently studied under him in Vrindavan Dham. So this is a very, very important message I have based on the topic that we were discussing this morning, one of the most prominent topics that were discussed. That Mahaprabhu Kirtan Nitya Gita Vadit Ramadhyan Manasura Sena Romanchakam Pasru Taranga Bhajo Vande Guru Sri Charnaravinda. So now the third verse. Sri Vigra Aradna Nitya Nana Shringar Tan Mandir Marjanado Yuktascha Bhaktamscha Ninjatopi Vande Guru Sri Charnaravinda. So here in all the verses we discuss the bhajan, which has two components. One is the Vaidhi or sadhana or Raganuga sadhana, and the other one is the most internal bhajans of our acharyas. We have to remember that this song is glorification of our pure Gaudiya acharyas. So these are the symptoms of what are their activities, how do they behave, etc. So Sri Vigraha Aradhana, this is something that most acharyas, they worship the deity. We have seen photographs of Srila Prabhupada worshipping the deity. One time in San Francisco, which is now known as New Jagannath Puri, Berkeley area. So at that time, Lord Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Devi and Sudarshan Chakra were installed, and it was almost the ISKCON movement was kind of fresh within its first 2 years. So they did not have all the grand facilities and opulence as we have today. So Prabhupada would offer candle to Lord Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Devi. So that is the Acharya teaching that we have to. And then he said, if you have the facilities, then you offer the best things to Krishna. So, and then Prabhupada, even in Vrindavan, India, he has that picture worshipping Krishna Balaram. Have you all seen? He has the, I think, peacock feather or chamar. He's worshipping. So Sri Vigraha Aradhana. Now, what is the importance of Vigraha Aradhana? Meaning worshipping the deities. I'm going to open this to the esteemed forum here. Anybody would like to, again, like I said, this is not a test. Anybody can make a genuine attempt, and so we will put you last.
In relation to Lord, the serving mode,
Yes, in relation to Lord. So basically, what our acharyas are teaching is, they are for Vaidhi Bhaktas. We right now don't have Radha and Krishna in front of us. Right? In the sense that, the actual. So what we have is the kripa. There are different kinds of. Jai Mataji, Hare Krishna. We have different types of leelas of the Supreme Lord. One of them is like Srishti Leela, creation. One of them is Kripa Leela. So what is Kripa Leela encompass? Prabhupada has mentioned that he himself transformed into Srimad Bhagavatam. Shastra is Kripa Leela. He himself has very kindly agreed to stand in the temple in front of us as the deity form. That is Kripa Leela. What is Kripa Leela? When he manifests himself as the Acharya, giving us instruction. So that is Kripa Leela. That encompasses Kripa Leela. So the deity form. So when we practice here very nicely, following under the guidance of Vigraha Aradhana, then at some point in our existence, we will be ready in Raganuga Bhakti, and eventually we also explain the different dashas or the different stages of the Shraddha, then Sadhusang. Very briefly we touched upon it. Then we touched upon the Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. Shraddha and Sadhusang, at that time we take full ashray of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, because he is very kind. And at that time our hearing, chanting, taking prasadam, these are the main engagements in the beginning. That's what attracts us, and that's what the facilities are provided. We have that perfect facility in ISKCON, right? Then the next stage is after Anartha, when we have Anartha Nivritti, and at that time, and then Nishtha Ruchi. So Anartha Nivritti and Nishtha Ruchi will actually be under the, Bhajan Kriya and Anartha Nivritti are under Guru Ashray. So we take Diksha, and under Vaidhi Bhakti, we do deity worship. So we are doing Sri Vigrahara, Dhana Nitya Nana, Sringara Tan Manjira. So they teach us, we get Brahman Diksha. So that is a part of Bhajan Kriya. Prabhupada and his sincere followers qualify us. This Brahman Diksha was actually the Devi Varnashram that was set up by the dream of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So what is that verse in the Bhagavad Gita? Janmana Jayati Shudra Sanskarat Bhavati. Sorry, not Bhagavad Gita, Shastra. Everybody is born as a Shudra, ignorant, but Sanskarat Bhavati Dvija. Dvija means twice born. So we get that Brahminical initiation or quality. And Bhagavan Krishna says, in the Bhagavad Gita, Vasudeva Krishna says that Chaturvarnyam Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhagasa, not by Janma, Guna and Karma. So, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, very, very revolutionary in the Vaishnava community. Not that Orthodox Brahmins are Brahmins and only they can serve. No, we can all qualify, because at the end of the day, those who are on the Orthodox Brahmin platform, what is called, we call Jati Gosai or seminal lineage, then that is based on the bodily concept, if we really analyze that. But what our acharyas saw, when the need came, when the temples are expanding, then the deity worship, Sri Vigraha Aradhana is important, right? So then they need persons who are trained in Brahminical qualifications. So that way, the deities are taken care of. So important. Otherwise, temples can be opened, but there is no Brahmanas to take care. So many temples are there. In India, And unfortunately, the deities are not well kept. There's so much negligence. Even in Vrindavan Dham, we find that rats are running around, cockroaches are running around, the tattered deity dresses, although they are getting the Lakshmi, but they don't use it, some of them. This is very unfortunate. It is the Thakurji's money, but they are using it for their own pet palan, for their own survival or for their own sense gratification. So many temples, the old ancient temples, so much Lakshmi is coming, but they don't really take care neither of the temple premises nor of the deities. So it is important to take care of the deities, and that is why we need Brahmins. And the Brahmins are qualified not based on the bodily concept, but based that they are a spirit soul and they will be trained to take the second initiation, and they can go on the altar and serve under the proper guidance, with the proper mantras, with the proper shuddhikaran, purity, achaman, etc., the mantras, and then one gets qualified and Krishna accepts their seva. So that was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's roadmap. And Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, our Prabhupada, he actually put it into practice. Many people in India, they criticize Prabhupada. How can you put these Westerners on the altar? They are not qualified, especially the Orthodox Brahmins. And that has always been a conflict between Orthodox Brahmins and Vaishnavas. We just mentioned today about Baldev Vidyabhushan ji going. Just why? Because the Orthodox Brahmins in Jaipur, they were not allowing Govind Dev ji to be worshipped with Radharani. Because it's in the Parkiyaras, they don't accept it. They do not accept the Srimad Bhagavatam. They did not accept the Gaudiya Vaishnavism as bona fide. Right? So then somebody had to do something. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti was very old. He could not go. He sent his disciple, Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan. And he was also, at night, he was also, next morning he's supposed to present. And he had some confusing thoughts. And Govind Dev ji himself came. This is how you will present. That Gaudiya Vaishnavism is bona fide, Srimad Bhagavatam is bona fide, and Parkiya Ras is bona fide. Jai Jai Ujjwala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar Parkiya Bhave Jahan Vrajeta Prachar Jai Radhe Jai Krishna Jai Vrindavan. Yeah, but not everybody is privileged to understand. And the whole idea of these sessions is to understand who our acharyas are, at least get a glimpse. After hearing this, we are not going to enter Raganuga Bhakti or anything like that. But at least we will get information that how great our acharyas are, that the rest of the theistic world, the rest of the faiths, even the faiths in the Sanatan Dharma, they are not privy or privileged to get this kind of opportunity. So let us not throw it away. I mentioned, I think, on the first session that sometimes we find that some very prominent colleges have students who get admission after a great difficulty, like IIT or some medical colleges, Stanford, Harvard in the US as an example, Oxford in the UK. And after getting a nice seat, if the student is thinking, a medical college student is thinking about arts or commerce then, or something else, has he not wasted or she has not wasted the seat? Certainly wasted the seat. As an example, simple, crude example. So similarly, if we have been somehow or the other, due to our Sukriti, we have come to this glorious Mahaprabhu's branch, ISKCON, then if we simply throw it away by not at least getting information, that understanding and realization will come. It will eventually come through proper Vaidhi Bhakti and then Vaidhi Sadhana, and eventually through the stages after clearing Bhajan Kriya and Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha and Ruchi, where actually Bhajan Kriya and Anartha Nivritti, we are under the mercy of Radha Madan Mohan Dev, which is the Sambandha Thakur. Then we advance after all Anartha Nivrittis, all the misgivings, the dirty things are away. Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhavadava Maha Agni Nirvapana. After all the negative things are over. So what is the positive thing? The positive thing is Nishtha and Ruchi in this. And we get Raganuga lobe. At that time we get greed. We have not entered Raganuga, but we get that lobha. Just like we see somebody having a very opulent or something very nice, then we also sometimes get that feeling that I wish I also had it, right? Whether in the material, same thing kind of applies in the spiritual realm, that greed, that lobha. And that we will also discuss in the verse where Sri Radhika Madhavir apar. That lobe is coming, right? That word, lolupasya, Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. So, Nishtha Ruchi, and then at that time, we take the Shravan Dasha, and we also, Shravan Dasha means we very keenly hear or read. It's the same thing, right? Shravan Dasha, Raganuga Lobe, Shravan Dasha, and the desire to reside in Vraj. That intense desire to reside in Vraj, that kind of paves our path to Raganuga Bhakti because of that greed. And then at that time, the mercy of Radha Govind Dev Ji flows. The Abhidya Thakur. Abhidya means the process. How do we get there to the final goal of Krishna Prema, which is Prayojan? And then, next stage, we clear that Asakti is there. We get so much attached, and then we get the Varna Dasha, Ekadash Bhav, and Smarana Dasha. So, what is Varna Dasha? I mentioned it this morning. Anybody recollects? The word Varna means yes, Prabhu?
Is it classification?
No, not classification. Varna means the Rupa, the form. So at that time, the sadhak when they are chanting the Mahamantra, they can see the form of Krishna from toe to the moon-like face, all the details. That takes a lot of practice. It doesn't just appear like that. We can, test ourselves. This morning, does anybody remember what is the color of the dress of the deities? What color the colors were there in the ornaments, or what kind of ornaments were there on Radha and Krishna? Very hard. But to those who have reached that stage of asakti, then they will remember every detail. And that's how they will contemplate on the form of the Lord. So that is Varana Dasha. And then they also receive within the hearts by the mercy of the Acharyas Ekadash Bhav. Ekadash Bhav is the 11 different symptoms, like the Siddha Pranali, that who we are. It will be revealed in our hearts. Chakshudana Dilojai, Janma Janme Prabhu Sei, Divya Gyan, Hriday Prakashito. So even though His Divine Grace is not present physically in Vapu, even though in His Vani, things are there, but we need the eyes to see even the Vani and understand the Vani. So then it is more clearer. Srila Prabhupada and our Acharya is like even Rupa Goswami may come, Raghunath Das Goswami may come, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada may come, and they may reveal who we are in the spiritual world. They will tell us. And then we will get that Ekadash Bhav, 11 different symptoms like name, dress, seva, residence. All these things are revealed to us, under which Varishta Manjari we will be serving, and under which Varishta Gopi we will be serving. So all these these different symptoms will be revealed to us. That is called the Ekadash Bhav. Unfortunately, nowadays, a lot of them go to Radhakund and they catch some Babaji, and Babaji tells them that, oh, this is your Ekadash Bhav, you are this Manjari. They say that. So, our Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said that such persons without qualification, those who are giving and those who are receiving, they are not living in Radhakund. He said they are living in Narakund. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada was Simha Guru, very strong. One time when Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada ji went to Radhakund, so some of the locals, they came and said, Maharaj, can we hear from you Pancharasa Adhyay, Ras Leela? So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, give me Isopanishad. So he gave a lecture on Isopanishad at Radhakund, knowing that most of the people there are not qualified. Of course, we should not in our hearts never make any such offenses, because I am on this seat I'm just simply repeating what our Acharya said. But if we see somebody in Radhakund or as a matter of anywhere, we just offer our obeisances. And if they're not in our line, we offer our obeisances from far. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one bhajan in Sharanagati, in Bhakti Pratikul Bhav Varjan Angikar, meaning the anga or the branch, the sixth branch, as per Hari Bhakti Vilas, which he had taken in that bhajan, that Keshava tuva jagata vichitra, Keshava tuva jagata vichitra, Karama vipake bhavavana brahmi, Pekhalu ranga bahu chitra, Keshava tuva jagata vichitra. He's saying, oh my Lord Krishna, this world of yours is very strange. Karma vipake bhavavana brahmi. Due to my karma, I am simply oscillating in different parts of this material world. Bhavavan means a forest. And forest is like, as we described, samsara davanal, forest fire. So I'm simply going here and there. Ei rupe brahman brahmite. The jiva is based on their karma. Pekhalu ranga bahu chitra, and I'm seeing so many different varieties of scenarios, experiences I'm gathering. And at the end he's saying in the middle that Kapila, Gautama, Kanubhaji, that different philosophers like Kapil Muni, not Kapil Dev of Bhagavatam, Kapila Gautam, there was one Gautam Muni. So some of them were Mayavadis, some Brahmavadis, Patanjali, the Yoga Sutra, all these different philosophers come. Buddha, Lord Buddha, Dhave, although Lord Buddha is Krishna, but his whole idea, as you all know, you all have studied that, was to reestablish, to reject the Vedas because of the rampant hinsa or the violence. So Krishna personally played that role of rejecting the Vedas. So even Buddhists, they come running, Bauddha Dhave Ave, they come running to me. Are Baba, you have this problem, you take to our philosophy. Somebody will come, they will come running. And this is happening even today. If you see, so many philosophers are there who simply will try to solve our problems with their own intellect and with their own philosophies. So what does Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur say? That at the end he's saying in the last line, Dandvata durata karo, bhakata charana kori sar. I offer my obeisances unto all those philosophers, even if he's Mayavadi or anybody else from far. Dandvata durata karo. Durat means from far. From far. But for me, the essence and the samam bonam is bhakata charan, meaning the Vaishnava Acharyas. So we have to be also very careful. Actually, Prabhupada had said somewhere, I had heard many years ago, and maybe you all can correct me if I'm wrong, that even if there is a Mayavadi sannyasi, you should offer your obeisances. We have to show respect. We have to show respect. But that doesn't, respect means as far as folding your hands and offering danvats, not following the philosophy. We don't have to do that because that is, Mayavadi is Krishna Paradi. We don't need to follow that. Only those who have come to this high stage of Sukriti gets entrance into Mahaprabhu's camp. Otherwise it's not possible. Not possible. So somehow or the other we must have done something. And we must have, even some of us must have received Ahituki Kripa. Just simply without any reason, some Vaishnava in our past life came and gave us either prasadam or they were chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Or some of us in this lifetime never heard of anything like the Western culture. They did not hear anything about Krishna or anything. So Ahituki Kripa, Srila Prabhupada went there to give them and made them into Vaishnavas. So this is very important that we understand that we offer our obeisance to everyone, even an ant, if we have that realization. Like look at his, again and again, somehow or the other, because I'm here and I feel that His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj is my Siksha Guru. And how humble he is. He offers his obeisances to everyone. Anybody folding their palms or offering dandvats. He, even at this age, goes down on his knees and offers dandvats. So there's so much to learn. Especially nowadays I see It's an observation, so forgive me for those who have heard this. But many sannyasis, many of them are offering obeisances and they don't even look at them. Shastra done what they do and they simply walk over as if they don't exist. So we have to learn these things from our people are paying obeisances and all that. He told me in confidence that it is very hard, because then it is me, I'm one person, everybody's paying obeisances, but then I have to pay obeisances to all. He was said it in a joking way. Huh? So it's a big responsibility. Amanena manadena kirtanya sadahari. If we cannot give man to all, then we cannot reach that high stage. Then how will we teach others? Trinadapi sunichana. So that is by exemplary behavior, as we see in some of the sadhus in our movement. So we have them, just not His Holiness Radhanath Swami, but there are many like that. But many are or not. Also they had this ashram, but they don't give the proper respect to the people who are respecting them. So just as a side note, although I said that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, I said they are not living in Radhakund, they are living in Dharakund, because he can see, he is Nayana Manjari. He can see the associates of Srimati Radharani and Krishna in Radhakund. He can see the pastimes and he can see the elements that are not a part of that entourage and not qualified, some or the other, because it is Kali Yuga. And obviously they cannot enter into the pastimes of Radharani or Krishna. They are externally present there. They cannot see. Even today these pastimes are happening 24/7. What we hear from Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami's Govind Lila Amrit Ashtakaliya Leela, it's continuously happening in Vraj. But we don't have the eyes to see them. So those who don't have the eyes, and if we are simply pretenders, then we are not only we think we are advancing. That attitude comes even within us, that oh, I'm doing so nicely, people are praising me. So then what we are doing, the first thing, whenever, this is as a side note, whenever somebody gives us praise, immediately we should not keep it. Just like in the previous ancient times, when the disciples did bhiksha, what did they do? Everything that they received, even one grain of rice, they gave it to Gurudev. So similarly, if we receive, this is sukshma or subtle, if we receive any kind of praise, somebody says, Prabhu, nice service you did, then immediately the first thing that should come to our mind, Jai Gurudev, Jai Srila Prabhupada. And that way you are offering that praise to them. That is the proper way. Otherwise, at some point, ahankar will seep in. I'm better than others. I know more than others. So this is something that I learned from some Varishta Vaishnavas. And I try and I seek your blessings that I will always remember those instructions and follow them in my life. One thing that I had heard, and it was so amazing, did I mention about the pastime of Hanumanji Maharaj in was this class or was it in NVCC? I don't remember, but the manjaris are offered by Srimati Radharani that I will make you my Sakhi. Sometimes Raghunath Das Goswami also mentions that in his book Vilap Kusum Manjali. Radharani is so pleased with Rati Manjari Seva or Tulsi Manjari Seva that I want to make you my Sakhi. So the Manjaris refused that. I didn't mention it in any of the sessions. I did. I didn't mention, no?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yesterday I mentioned it. Okay. So those who heard that, so they refused. No, because we get a lot of pleasure. Now somebody may say with that sentence, it is half heard though. We get a lot of pleasure. So that sounds like sense gratification. No, but that pleasure we don't keep, we offer it to Radharani. So we want maximum pleasure in the service of Radha and Krishna so that we can offer it back to them. So that is a very, very important siddhant in our Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Anytime we feel that bliss or happiness, don't keep it. Offer it. And we will get more and more. That is the principle. 1 minus 1 is equal to 1 in our Vaishnava Siddhanta. So we get even more. Actually, in this case, 1 minus 1 is equal to infinity in one sense. So we should always keep that in mind. Some of the key points that when they come in my heart, I want to share. Because if this is how we live our lives, then we will please Srila Prabhupada, we will please our senior Vaishnavas, we will please our Guru Maharajis, Vande Guru Ho, Sri Charanarvindam. So, any kind of happiness we get out of spiritual, whether we are chanting and we get some ecstasy, immediately offer it to Srimati Radharani. Offer it to Prabhupada, which what I meant is, it goes to Srimati Radharani eventually. That's what I meant, not directly. But I was giving the example of Rati Manjari or Raghunath Das Goswami, that yes, I don't want to be bereft of that. Because I get more pleasure, because we get the most confidential seva, more than Lalita, Vishakha and all the Astasakis. So at some point, if we become one of them, then we will not get that most confidential seva. And when we get that most confidential seva, our bliss increases, Ananda Mudi Vardha. So in the Chaitanya Sishtastakam, that word is used. So there are many meanings of that word, depending on upon the realization and who is speaking it, and with what consciousness one understands that word of Ananda Mudi Vardhanam. Ananda Mudi Vardhanam means, what is the normal meaning that we know, every day we chant and we recite? So what does Ananda Mudi Vardhanam mean? Of the devotee, right? But the Rasik Artha is Ananda Mudi, Radha Krishna are the ocean of bliss. Radha Krishna are the ocean of bliss. And even their bliss increases when we serve as Manjaris. When we get that opportunity. That's one meaning of the... I remember I was like, there are more than one meanings of certain words. And when we churn, the acharyas churn and churn and churn. So many, the common meanings are like milk, which is good. Then as you heat the milk up slowly and you churn the milk, it becomes thicker, right? And then it even becomes thicker. And then it becomes finally khoya or mawa or barfi. So this condensed milk or khoya, the final version is the Manjari Bhav or the Madhurya Rasa in Manjari Bhav. So we should aim for that. Not just get stuck up eventually in Bhagavad Gita. Because if we think of the verses of Bhagavad Gita, it's full of opulence. It's the kind of, I like to say, the curriculum vitae, CV of Krishna. Chamatkar ko hai namaskar. So when we see, like, Arjun saw the universal form, immediately, please remove that from me in my eyesight, Krishna. And he started seeing all those different universal, the whole universe in Krishna's body and all that. So then immediately he understood who Krishna is. So now he took the instructions even more seriously, more and more seriously, because Chamatkar ko namaskar. So when we see, so Prabhupada introduced Bhagavad Gita, why? So that we will get attracted to the opulence of Krishna, Vasudeva Krishna. And that way we will accept that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. But once we enter from Vaidhi to Raganuga, then we do not have to, Yogamaya takes over and makes us forget that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And he is just simply one of us, the Sakhas are thinking. Nandamai and Yashoda Baba thinking he is our darling. One time, Radha Govind Maharaj's Katha, I heard that the Varishta Gopas of Vrindavan, the elderlies, were kind of, mildly chastising Nanda Baba that, hey, you're taking your son very lightly. Don't. We think he is Narayan. Just see the different feats he has performed. All the tough things, right from killing the demoness Putna to Shaktasur and all the different heavy duty demons he has killed. And now he just picked up 7 days and 7 nights Govardhan on his little finger. So Nanda Baba says that look, you all think he is Narayan, and they also said even Balaram, he is not ordinary, he is also expansion of some form of Narayana. So he said, सभी अवतार हमारे घर में ही पैदा होने थे. Nand Baba says, shrugging off that statement that all the avatars are coming in and coming and taking birth in my home. Arre bhai, this is my Lala. 20 times a day he is crying for milk and makhan. So he throws that off. Even if that suggestion is made, or sometimes even, like even one point at some point he can ask, I had mentioned this in Vrindavan when I gave the seminar on Guruvashtakam, that Akhila Dehi Nam Antaratma Drik in Gopi Geet. So this sounds contradictory. Antaratma Drik means you are the indwelling personality within everybody's heart. But what does that mean? The Rasikartha is that you are always in our heart. Antaratma Drik. Not that you are Paramatma or Super Soul. So that is why churning is required. We have to eventually get not the milk but the khoya, the barfi. That's what we should aim for. And we can only aim for it if we have information. And that information will, and I always say that yes, go through all these books systematically and then come to that, and then immediately we will have that greed or the dasha of asakti of varana dasha, ekadash bhav and smaran dasha. Smaran dasha means constantly we will be thinking of Krishna and our services, because already who we are is already revealed in the ekadash bhav. It is already revealed to us. So smaran dasha means what? We are thinking of our seva. Like this example this morning was Narottam Das Thakur was thinking of his seva and his fingers were burnt. When he tried to, when the milk was boiling over, he took the vessel with his bare fingers. And when he woke up, his fingers were burnt. So that is smaran dasha. And then of course, bhav, that is the siddha platform. Samadhi, we get, bhav is samadhi platform. And then at that time, we get the complete mercy of Radha Gopinath, because in samadhi we do, what happens is in samadhi and prema we achieve the final goal of Krishna prem by the mercy of Gopinath. Why? Because Gopinath, anybody remembers this morning I said Prayojan Thakur, not Acharya, Thakur, or the Prayojan personality, the Krishna. But why Gopinath?
Krishna with Radha.
Yeah, but he is the Nath of gopis, and then he will give us entrance into the Madhurya Rasa. He will bless us with that. Yes, now you are ready. I will hand you over to Srimati Radharani. I will hand you over to Rupa Manjari. So Gopinath. So that is why it is so. That is why these three Thakurs are the most important. Jayatam Surata Pongo Mama Mandamadir Gati Masarvasva Padam Buddha Radha Madan Mono Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumad Srimad Ratnangata Simasana Sri Sri Radha Govinda Deva Preshtali Visevya Swanu Sarave Sriman Rasara Saram Vivam Shivatastata Karshana Swader Venur Gopi Sri Gopinath Asrayastuna Gopinath. That is why even we find, see through the bhajans, Gopinath Mama Nivedana Suna. We see the mood of Thakur Bhakti Vinod. He is addressing Gopinath. Tumara Kinkaro Yami. I am the maid servant of Srimati Radharani. Tumar means Radha Krishna. So that is the mood. So when we read and contemplate on Vaishnava bhajans, very important. Even though, if honestly speaking, we don't do any of these big courses and Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vedant, Bhakti, all these different courses, it's good to do them, please don't get me wrong. But if we have understood Prabhupada Lilamrit and we have understood the Vaishnava bhajans of our Acharyas, then we have got the highest degree. Let's put it that way. But in order to understand that, these are auxiliary things that we have to do. So all the processes that I had heard one day is that when we chant, we take darshan, we sit and hear katha, all this is what? It is preparing us for Shuddha Naam. Eventually, it culminates into that. And one who has got Shuddha Naam, then automatically they have reached their Raganuga Bhakti. They have already reached the Bhav stage and Prema stage, where Krishna will dance on the tongue of the devotee. So, that is it is preparing us. All these activities that all you esteemed students are studying, all this, why? It is eventually to come to the level of Krishna Prem. And I had mentioned that earlier, I think on the first day itself, first session, that if all this, it is Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam, if it doesn't give us more attraction for Krishna, if we don't become more humbler, and if it takes an opposite effect, then the study of Vedas is Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Bhayami. So that is my personal opinion, and there's no need for anybody to take it otherwise, because I'm speaking this as it is, that I've heard from Varishta Vaishnavas. So we discussed that, and then now we enter into the third verse. Shri Vigraha Aradhana Nityanana Sringara Tan Mandir Marjanado. So Shri Vigraha Aradhana, we started with that, and we understood that even the Acharya personally shows us how to worship, like Srila Prabhupada personally showed how to worship, because eventually that's what we will be doing when we enter into the Nitya Radha Krishna Leela and Vrindavan, decorating. We are Nitya. Nana Shringar means different varieties of Shringar, decorations for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. Shringar literally means the word, it means that to decorate. Or also more meanings of Shringar, deeper meanings is to engage in love talk. Engaging love talk means describing the conjugal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. That is also Shringar Ras. And it is done for Radha Krishna's pleasure. It is done for Radha Krishna's pleasure. So, in Mangal Arati, there are different types of dresses. We find that it is a simple dress that last night when they went to sleep, so that is the Shringar. You don't laden them with heavy clothes or big mukut, etc., because that is not the proper mood at that time, or the proper seva. So in Mangal Arati there is a different dress. Then we find, especially in Pushtimar, they change their dresses, because I have seen my grandmother doing that. In our childhood we have seen. Then after Mangal comes the Shringar Darshan, meaning the greeting of the deities. So at that time opulent dresses are offered to the Lord, and they really look amazingly beautiful in that. And either ways they look beautiful, whether in Mangal or in Shringar Darshan. And then there is also the dress that changes when it comes to Gwal. Gwal is when Krishna takes the cows for herding. So that time the dress changes. Especially in Pushtimar, they do that. That if you go to Srinathji, they have these darshans. They have 7 darshans, I think, in a day, and all 7 darshans dresses are changed. So, and I will come to some of the small details that lead to Anukulena Krishna Anushilana. What is Anukul to Krishna? So in Shringar, normally we don't have the coward stick in it. Sometimes, of course, they put it. In ISKCON, we have, it is the bhav that is predominant, but the bhav is even more condensed. Like for example, when they are worshipping Srinathji as an example, very, very meticulous, which is Anukul, right? In Gwal, they offer the lakuti, or the stick is offered. The cow horn is offered. The Krishna Balram, they have the cow horn or the bull's horn. So that is basically to, when they go for cow herding, sometimes the cows go here and there, either with the flute or with the horn, they call them. So that is the proper dressing for Gwal. Then during the midday, which is known as Madhyan Leela. At that time it is Rajbhog. So in Rajbhog, the dress changes. especially because Mother Yashoda sends after the what you call the Gopashtami, they are given the bigger cows to herd. So then they go into the forest, and before that they are always at home, right? Krishna Balaram. So at that time they change their clothes because opulent clothes will get dirty. So they put some nice simple clothing on them, especially in Rajbhog. Orange and white dresses are used in Rajbhog. So if anything falls or anything, it is easily detectable and it will be cleaned quickly. So this is the bhav of the Vaishnavas. And then Utthapan. Again, in Utthapan time, they come back from cow herding. So dress changes. Then they are given a quick bath by Mother Yashoda, and the servants like Chitrak and Patrak, they are around with the towels and everything. And again, they are dressed very nicely. Mother Yashoda puts a nice tika, black tika from her mascara, kajal, so that nazar na lage to Krishna. And so like this, the different dresses are there. And then there is bhog in the evening. Not Rajbhog of the afternoon, but evening bhog. So at that time, different dress again. And then Shayan dress is different. As we all know, we practice that in ISKCON also, that it's changed, and that the same dress they wake up in the morning. So at that time Krishna has not taken a bath. There is no bath, he is simply right there. So Sringar is offered according to season and festival. Different seasons and festivals of which, like in Vasant Ritu, in the time of spring, the ornaments that are offered to Krishna are mainly made of pearl. Even in hot summer, because pearl is cooling. That is the reason why they offer. And then Vasant is also slightly cold, so they offered them woven clothes. Not like the heavy duty clothes in winter. Like even we have in Jagannath Puri, what is that? Odna Shasti, right? At that time winter comes in and Lord Jagannath gets the heavy clothes to protect from winter. Then ornaments like gold and minakari are offered in Vasant Ritu. So of course I don't have time to describe all the different seasons, but just to give a few examples. In Ushnakal, different ornaments like oyster shell and sandalwood are offered, so that it brings a cooling effect. One disciple of one of the Ashtachap Sakhas of Sri Vallabhacharya, who are also gopis, and they are also Sakhas, they are in both rasas. So he has written a very nice bhajan in Ushnakal in Vraj Bhasha. He says that Mere graha chandana ati komal lije ho sundar brajanayaka. He's calling Krishna. Krishna, come to my house. My chandan is very soft. Let me apply it to. This is in the heat of the summer. Mere graha chandana ati komala lije ho sundar brajanayaka. Paramudara chatura chintamani. You are so magnanimous that you will indeed come to my house and accept this sandalwood. Chatura chintamani. So you are very clever. If you will say that, oh, today I have to go there, I have no time, I have to go to this place. But you are Chatura Chintamani. You can easily escape anybody, you can put them in the lapeta and you can come to my house. So that is the bhav that these gopis are expressing. Even when we are offering the ittar or the perfume, that is also done. If we go to Srinathji and the Pushtimarg devotees, they don't just offer any perfume at any season. It's not done. So for example, in winter, they offer only kasturi. Kasturi is considered to be warm in winter. Musk is offered. It is dark brown or dark black in color. Then Hina is offered also in winter. These ittars are offered. Hina, kasturi, chameli is offered in most seasons. It can be offered, it is all season. In America we have, especially in North America where it snows a lot, there is all season tires and there are winter tires. So winter tires means we change our tires for winter. They have a thicker thread. But they also sell all season. So we don't have to change them. In snow also they are good, and also in winter they are good. So chameli is, or jasmine is all season. Sondha has got the specific smell of earth. Have you ever felt it when the rain first falls and how that fragrance comes? That is the fragrance of Sondha. Sondha is also all season. It can be offered to Thakurji, to Radha Krishna at any time. Then there is Jui. Jui is also all season. Parijat is also most seasons. You can offer that. Kevda is offered only in monsoon. Kevda, because it is also kind of has the heating, tendency. So the Thakurji will not fall sick, will not get cold. So Kevda is offered. Mogra is offered in summer. The ittar or the perfumes. So is gulab, rose. Chandan in summer, and khas, especially khas, is in summer. So this is just something for if you all have your own deities at home. When you go to a Vraj, especially I get them for my Girirajji. There is a place in Mathura which is very close to Vishram Ghat, maybe a couple 100 meters. It is called Bengali Ghat, and there is a very nice shop that sells genuine ittar. Because a lot of these perfumes that we sometimes offer and we take, they are chemicals and they can cause allergies. And even if it can cause us allergies, and he is the personality of Godhead, so don't you think he will catch cold or allergy? That is our bhav, right? Like Lord Jagannath catches cold after the Snan Yatra. So that is the bhav. That my Lord, just like Mother Yashoda, my grandmother used to make so many wonderful items in winter. There's one item that I still remember, it's called Sonasur. It was made out of, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of I don't know what it is called, but the haldi is there and some other warm ingredients. I still remember. Not ground ginger, but it is, I think, maybe dry ginger. What we call sont. Yeah, sont. So that she made some laddus with that. And after offering, when we had it in winter, our throat would become warm. Seriously. A few years ago, I went to Govind Kund, and there is the Baitakji, or the sitting place, 13th sitting place of Sri Vallabhacharya. Right, as you enter, there is a well to the right, and there is the 13th, just at Govind Kund, right there. There is the 13th sitting place. So the pujari there offered me or sonasur that was made there, and the original ingredients, nothing mixed, very high quality. It's expensive, and it was winter time, because only in winter they offer. And the moment I put it, and my throat started getting heat, my chest started getting heat, which I remembered my grandmother that I had it in my childhood. So these are the things that we should be offering to Krishna for their, and at home, if we are having our deities or something, then we can, if we can afford, buy something that is genuine. Some of these ittars are 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees a tola. Tola means 10 grams.
Costly like gold.
Yeah, very costly. But some of them are made from genuine extract without chemicals. So those are conducive. That will not cause you, even incense that we offer, some are made of some very, very bad chemicals. The moment you smell it, you feel like coughing, sneezing, all that. But if they are genuine agarbattis you offer, you will not feel it. And they are very pleasant. So whatever is not conducive to us, how we can offer to Thakurji in one sense. And what is not conducive to Thakurji, how we can accept. It works both ways. So another thing that comes to mind, the peacock feather. Sripad Nitya Leela Pravist Gaur Govind Maharaj has said that don't disturb the mood of Gauranga. Have you heard that? We should not offer peacock feather to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We offer it. There was a paper also written in ISKCON they had kind of debated, and then the GBC said it's okay to offer. But according to some Varishta Vaishnavas, when we offer peacock, it is explained in a book called Embankment of Separation. Very nice book. If you get your hands on it by Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj, please read it. It gives you, anybody read that book? Yes, Prabhuji, you are very rasik. I must accept that. So in that, if you remember, Maharaj mentions that even Prabhupada has said that don't disturb the mood of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Oh Gaura, when a peacock feather is on your head, what happens? You are Krishna. You are Krishna. But what is his mood? Then how, if he is Krishna, how he will cry? How will he cry in separation? Only when he has the mood of Srimati Radharani, he is crying in separation. Ai Nanda Tanuja, he is crying. He is crying, Yuga itam nimishena chakshusha pravashaitam. Shunaitam jagat sarva govinda virahiname. In the separation. So if you remind him that he is Krishna, then is that conducive? I'm giving you the highest principles, then it's up to everyone how much you want to accept, how much we want to accept or not. So on Mahaprabhu, we do not put peacock feather. Because he will not be able to, you are reminding him. As a matter of fact, they are working very hard. Who? Swarup Damodar Goswami and Rai Ramanand as Lalita Sakhi and Visakha Sakhi in the Gambhira to make sure that he gets the mood of Radharani. And somebody comes and unwinds that and reminds him that, oh, you are Krishna. So that is not conducive. That is not Anya Vilashada Shunya Jnana Karma Avritam Anukullena Krishna Anusirinam. What is Anukul to Mahaprabhu? We should understand. But that only we can understand if we follow in the footsteps and we study Gaudiya Vaishnavism and Raganuga Bhakti under qualified. Yes, Prabhu? Yeah, we do. Like I said, there was a debate a few years ago, and finally some scholars presented some other case, but Prabhupada said that don't disturb the mood of Gaura. He said that, and Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj has repeated that, because he very clear says that, how will he cry if he is Krishna? He is only going to cry in separation, highest separation, when he gets the Radha Bhav. So that's how. Oh, I am Krishna. Immediately he is thinking when he gets that, when he sees that, I cannot cry now. But Mahaprabhu is crying constantly. So we are disturbing his mood. Nanda Kula, a Chandrama, Kwa Sikhi, Chandra Alankrita. But when we are offering the Shringar, then we have to offer peacock feather on Krishna. We should not miss it. Nanda Kul Chandrama, you are the moon of the dynasty of Nanda Maharaj. Kwa Sikha Chandra Alankrita. And Alankrita means to decorate, Shringar. So Sikha means the peacock feather. So you are decorated with the, what is that verse we sing every day in the Shringar Darshan? Kandarpa Kodi Kavan, no, what is it? No, Govindamadi Purusham, yes. Venu Konantam Arvindam Dalayataksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam. The peacock feather, he is decorated with that. So Mahaprabhu is a different mood. Krishna is different in one sense. Although he is the same personality, but the mood is different. The mood is of that of Srimati Radharani. So according to, Shringar is also according done to the different times of the day. So the first delineation that is given, and each is approximately 3 or 3.5 hours. Approximately. So Ratri, the Ratri is the first, meaning it starts at midnight and then it basically ends at 3:30 a.m. Which is the Mangalarti time. It ends at that. So there is Ratri. After that, Nishanta. Nisha Anta meaning ending the sleep. So that time comes when their sleep is broken. Nisha Anta. Then comes Prataha, early morning, which is like when after the sun has risen, early morning. And then it goes on through afternoon till midday, which is called Madhyan. So these are different delineations. After Madhyan comes Purva, then Aparna Ahana, and then comes Shayankal, and Pradosha. And then again the cycle begins with Ratri. So in Govinda Amrit, it has been described by Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami in the different Ashtakaliya Leela, which I just mentioned, the 8 parts of the day, each approximately 3 hours. What is the Shringar that is offered to Radha Krishna? That is, in Ratri Leela, after the Ras Leela, the maid servants, meaning the Manjaris, what do they offer Krishna? They serve them by fanning them. So that is a part of their Shringar at night. And offering them camphor to cool them off from their perspiration. So these are all, the Karpur is offered. And Tambul is the Pan Bida. That is offered to Srinathji. It is his favorite.
After every meal.
Sorry?
After every meal.
After every meal, not only after every meal, they always, the Manjaris carry a dabba with them. They carry a dabba with them. And there is a very big significance. Of course, in Vaidhi Bhakti, we are not allowed to eat. But in Raganuga Bhakti, they constantly offer because it is for their pleasure. And that Pan Bida has a very, very rasic meaning. Shall I tell you?
Yes.
That Pan Bida, when it is offered to Krishna, and then Krishna breaks it into half and offers to Srimati Radharani. So that Adhar Amrutam, the Amrut from Krishna's lips, they are all dying for that. They are always jealous of the flute because constantly Krishna's lips are being touched. And that is the best part in the romance. The lips are considered the best. In Gopi Geet also that word comes, I forget the verse, Adhar Amritam. Please give us the nectar of your lips. Even Sri Vallabhacharya in the Madhurashtakam, he starts with Adharam Madhuram. So those who are lovers, they first look at not everything else but the lips. But we, in Vaidhi Bhakti, we look at the lotus feet. We start from the lotus feet and then we go slowly upwards to the thigh, right? To the navel, chest, neck, and then to the moon-like face of Krishna. That is Vaidhi Bhakti. But when we enter Raganuga Bhakti, we can aspire following the footsteps. And then when we get that Pan Bida that is half eaten and chewed by Srimati Radharani because it is given to the Manjaris, and one Manjari is so kind, Rupa Manjari will give it to the other Manjaris, little pieces. They are in ecstasy. Because that we say, no, this is Mahaprasad and this is Mahamaha. Don't we use that term? Because after that Mahaprasad comes, if Gurudev or the Varishta Vaishnavas have taken and we take their remnants, what do we call it? Mahamaha. So like this, the Mahamaha, of Krishna, Radharani, the Manjaris, it comes to us. If you visit Srinathji or if you visit any Pushtimarg temple, one thing I learned from my grandmother, that never ask for it. If you automatically get the Pan Bida, in your hands, if the Pujari gives it to you, then you can consider yourself very fortunate because you are getting the Adhar Amrit of Srinathji. Never ask for it. Because then, without asking if you get it, somehow or the other, some special mercy is shown to us. So, of course, it is not in our Sampradaya, especially in Vaidhi Bhakti, to offer. But if you go to New Vrindavan or Srinathji, or even I think in Radha Gopinath Mandir, there is Srinathji, and there is a cone. There is a cone, red cone. Under that cone is the tambul or the Pan Bida. That is what it is meant for. It is covered on a nice silver plate. So that's what they always carry, or in a silver box, or a Mani Jadita, Suvarna Peti, in a box they carry. Because constantly Radharani, and not only that, Radharani also takes the Bida directly from the Manjaris, and Krishna breaks it from her mouth and has it. So he gets the Maha Adhar Amritam of Srimati Radharani. So these are some things that we cannot understand. We may sometimes mistake it as something mundane and not, but just for informational purposes, that how our Manjaris and Sakhis, how they serve Krishna and Radharani in the different, in Nishant Leela. So that which is from 3:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. The Gaudiya Mangal Arati takes place. Yes?
Why don't we?
So
But we give it to people who are not following any principle, give it to them.
Yeah. Why in ISKCON we don't? Because
Against any principle,
one of the ideas is that we can get addicted. And generally what happens, we find that, I can tell you an incident in my own family. My mama used to eat pan quite a bit. And then slowly he started taking pan with tobacco. And all his life he took it. And not only that, he was so addicted that he even used the tobacco permeated toothpaste. 3-4 times a day he needed that. So then it turns into a very bad habit if it is not properly, our senses are not controlled. But for those whose senses are controlled, and when they enter Raganuga Bhakti, then for them there is no restriction. So in our ISKCON it is like that. But the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas like Rupa Goswami, they all partook the remnants of Pan Bida of Srimati Radharani. They took it. They never rejected it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi. So he followed the regulative principles to set an example. And that's why he did not take it. But he is Radha Krishna, right? In the mood of Radharani. And when he is Krishna, he accepts peacock feather. And he accepts the tambul or the pan bida. He accepts it. But as Mahaprabhu, he did not even see King Pratap with that, as I mentioned, because he is a Vishayi, according to most of the kings of the princely order or the royal order, and they are always enjoying material things. So as a sannyasi, so bhalo na peribe, halo na khaibe, gramya katha na koribe. So to set an ideal example as a and Vaidhi Bhakti. But behind closed doors, in Siva Sangan, all the ras was flowing. So for the general public, it's short, it was not, it is virgin, not allowed. For us, for sadhaks, for Vaidhi Bhaktas. So supposing if we go to Srinathji and we get the pan bida, then we can give it to somebody. But at least somehow or the other that mercy came, that the pujari gave it to us without asking. So we should accept that, offer it to our forehead, pranam, and then just give it to somebody. Because we have to, unless our mood is such, of our Raganuga mood, then you can take it. But how many of us can say we are? So that is so Nishant Dila, I was talking about Mangal Arti. What is Mangal Arti for our Gaudiya Vaishnavas? So I would like to share some deep secrets here about Mangal Arti. Now, according to Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami, Radha and Krishna in the Ratri Leela, they have enjoyed their pastimes along with the other gopis, and sometimes even in a secluded place themselves, awake most of the night and performing their conjugal rasa or amorous pastimes. And then they are tired. So then the last hour or hour and a half of the Ratri Leela, which is maybe around 2 a.m., they are made very comfortable by the Manjaris and Sakhis on a flower bed. They are put to sleep. And they go into a very deep sleep, deep slumber, embracing each other, they fall asleep. Then it is time now for them to wake up and go back to their own homes. Radharani has come from Yavat. Krishna has come from Nandgaon. At the Pradosha, meaning after taking prasad, the Mother Yashoda puts Krishna to sleep. But that is at approximately, I would say, about 7:30, 8 p.m. in Pradosha. And then he sleeps for 2-3 hours and then he escapes when everybody is sleeping to go into the forest to meet the gopis for the rendezvous with the Abhisar, with Radharani and the other Sakhis. So the last 3.5 hours he spends, or the first 3.5 hours, which is midnight to 3:30, in the Ashtakaliya Leela, he spends with them in the Madhurya Rasa, performing conjugal ras. And then they go to sleep. And it is 3:30 a.m. and Vrinda Devi gets very fully anxious, very anxious. Now they both have to go back, otherwise they will get caught. Morning, when Mata Yashoda wakes up and doesn't find Krishna in bed, or Jatila and Kutila, the sister-in-law Kutila and mother-in-law Jatila doesn't find Radharani in her room, or even when husband wakes up, Abhimanyu wakes up, doesn't find Radharani, then there will be a major catastrophe. And she is the director. Just like we have directors for movies, so Vrinda Devi, Purnamasi, and Yogmaya, they are the directors and who are actually directing the different pastimes of Radha Krishna in Vraj. And they are fully busy 24/7. In Vaikuntha also there is Yog Maya, but that Yog Maya is like a watchman. Like sometimes the Seth comes in the middle of the night, ut gaya, darwaja khola, baad mein so gaya, then goes back to sleep. But in Yog Maya in Vrindavan, 24/7, extremely busy, not a minute. That is why we pray to Vrinda Devi, Moroe Avilash Vilas Kunje Diyovas, Nayane Heri Vosada Jugle Roparasi, Ei Nivedana Dharo Sakhi Ranugata Karo, Seva Adhikara Diye Karo Nija Dasi. We pray to Yogmaya, to Vrinda Devi. So Vrinda Devi is very, very anxious. This is all in Govindillamrit, Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami describing. So she says, if I don't wake them up, I have to do something. So then first she sends the peacocks. So Radharani has her own peacocks and Krishna has their own peacocks. You seem to have read Govindillamrit. No, you have not. You are shaking your head so in ecstasy. Anyways, so those peacocks come and they start singing the glories of Radha and Krishna. The peacocks of Radharani sing the glories of Krishna and the peacocks of Krishna sing the glories of Radharani in their respective ears, trying to wake them up gently. And then they slightly open their eyes and then they twist and turn and again go back to sleep. It is like us. For Mangal Aarti, we try to wake up and we put the alarm and then we go into snooze mode. Maybe once, maybe twice. So they are in snooze mode at that time. Then Vrinda Devi is more anxious, did not wake up yet. So then she sends the bees. Bhavar. And they are more irritating. They go around, irritating in the sense they are also pleasant in Braj and they also sing the respective glories. But they are more intense than the peacocks. So that hopefully they'll eventually wake up. So they also again just brush away the bhavar, the bumblebees, and then again they slightly open their eyes and they again they go into their deep slumber, into their embrace, and not wanting to go at all. Actually, they don't want to separate. That is the nature of love. They are there together, they don't want to separate. And when such indications come, they feel deep separation already. I said that it is prema vivarta, deep separation. Yesterday I mentioned about Madhu Mangal, Madhusudan has gone. And although they are together, they feel the separation. Radharani feels extreme separation, although she is right there with Krishna. Because the word Madhusudan has gone. So she thinks that he's gone. And that deep separation comes. So different types of prema is there. I mentioned that. We all think that Krishna prema we all want, but what kind of Krishna prema we want? So these are some things that we learn from our Gaudiya Acharyas. So then the ducks, she indicates it to in the different sarovars that you need to now loudly cry out so that they will wake up. And they do that, and even then that doesn't affect. So finally she approaches Kahakuti. She is a she monkey, and she tells, now it's your turn to come into the drama hall. Just like the director says, now after this scene, you are entering. So Kahakuti, immediately what she does is she screams, Janina! Janina! What does that mean? So our Acharyas explain, Jata Aila. So Jata means the matlock of a yogi's hair. So similarly on the tree you find that the branches are intertwined in the kunja or in the trees, and some slight sun rays or the horizon is slightly getting reddish. So Jati Aila, morning is coming. He screams. But also there is another second meaning which actually shocks them. Jatila Aila, meaning the mother-in-law of Radharani is here, and when they hear that, when that goes into the ears, not the first meaning but the second one, they jump up. And in astonishment, in shock, and then we find that Krishna's flute is on one side, his peacock feather is on one side, sleeping, his mukut is on one side, his uttarangya is one side, Radharani is also, her different ornaments are scattered. So at that time, quickly to assist Yogmaya or Vrinda Devi, all the Manjaris gather under the guidance of Lalita Vishakha and Rupa Goswami or Rupa Manjari, and they dress them up perfectly. Fatafat. Just the way they were when they left their home at night or when they were dressed at night. That is their Sringar Ras at that time. And then when they are completely dressed, the final part before they send them to their respective homes is doing Aarti. Now what is that Aarti? So Aarti has many meanings in Sanatana Dharma. The Aarti, the meaning that is here, that is that may all your ill omens disappear. Don't get caught. You know, jitni bhi bad dua hai wo hame lage. And therefore that's when we take with that consciousness, when we take it, especially the Vaishnavas, they do that. Balihari. Whatever, bad things that happen to you, may it come on me. That is the pure mood of the Acharyas. That is the mood of the pure Acharyas. That may all the bad things come to me. Like that. So in Vaidhi Bhakti, yes, the different meaning is that we take it for our own purification. But here their bhav is that don't get caught. All the ill omens, something should not impede you going back home, and that you may lose an ornament or something and you will get caught, because Kutila and Chatila are very vigilant. we find that in that pastime of Shamanand Pandit, who was Dukhi Krishnadas in Seva Kunj, his seva was to clean the Ras Leela ground. And after cleaning that ground, one day he found the ankle bell, the nupur, the jhanjar of Srimati Radharani, but he didn't know whose it was. But it was amazing. It was just by holding it, he went into ecstasy. And when Radharani almost reached Yavat, she realized that one of the ankle bells is missing. So she said, if I go home and my vigilant mother-in-law and sister-in-law see it, I am in big trouble. Where is the second pair? Where did you lose it? They will scold me. So she told Lalita, go. I think I must have left it in the Ras Leela, in that ground. Why don't you go there and get it back? So when Lalita went as an old woman, and then she told Baba, she met Dukhi Krishnadas. That time his name was Dukhi Krishnadas. Baba, have you found some, my daughter-in-law lost her ankle bracelet. Have you found something like that? So Dukhi Krishnadas had some doubt. He said, early in the morning, this early, no old lady will come out like that. And no young woman would really roam in the forest like this. So how come, she's saying that? So she said that, you know what? Get me the other matching one, and if you have that, I will give it to you. So Lalita went back immediately with the speed of light. That is how Vraj is, Chintamani, whatever you think. So sometimes we find that Radharani is at Radhakund, which is about several kilometers away from Surya Kund. But she used to come and worship Surya Dev. How did that happen? From Yavat all the way to Radhakund is a lot of kilometers. Barsana, it's a long way. Nandgram, it's a long way. But in a blink of an eye, they can reach. We cannot measure that reasoning of our logic of the material world and apply it to the transcendental realm, to the transcendental domain. So, my wife was asking me when we were at Surya Kund one day, just right now in Kartik. So how is it possible? So, but that's how it's possible. So anyways, so then she went back and they said she is not, Dukhi Krishnadas, Babaji is not giving it. He wants proof of the second ankle bracelet. So she then said, okay, let me go myself. And then she went and Radharani showed the second ankle bracelet, and immediately he went into ecstasy. And Radharani actually showed her form as Kishori. And not only that, out of separation, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami started crying. Dukhi Krishnadas. He started crying. And he said, Radharani, you're leaving me. He said, I have to go. But you know what? I'm going to manifest the deities from within my heart and giving it to you. So Ladli Lal deities, even today they are in Radha Shyam Sundar temple, very close to Radha Damodar temple in Seva Kunj. And also not only that, she put her lotus feet on his forehead, and that And that bindi, if you see those who are followers of Shyamanand Pandit or Rasikanand Dev, who was a disciple of Shyamanand Pandit, they have this tilak, but their tulsi dal that we have on our nose is not full. Like ours is completely filled. Theirs is, they only have an outline of the tilak, just like us, and then there is a dot in between. And that dot was given, that tilak was given by Srimati Radharani to him. And then when he went back from Vrindavan, his guru, I think in Navadvip, or was it in Gauridas Pandit was in Ambika Kalna. That is the place in Bengal, in Ambika Kalna. Where he went there, his guru Hriday Chaitanya got very upset. You went there, and then of course Radharani gave him, your name from today onwards, your name won't be Dukhi Krishna, your name will be Shyama Ananda. Always happy. Shyama means Radharani, or Shyam means Krishna. You will always be in bliss in Radha Krishnas. So like this, when he went back, his Gurudev said, you changed your tilak, and you even changed your name. And he started beating him. And at that time, he didn't say anything. But then Radharani came into his vision and said, I have given it to him. So and then Hriday Chaitanya, his guru, he accepted that, and he offered him humble obeisances, that, oh, how fortunate you are. So that is Shringar Ras that we have been discussing. So we in Nishant Leela, Nishant Bhang Leela, we call it Nishant Bhang or Nishant Leela. That's when the Mangal Arati happens. That is our Gaudiya mood. When we perform Mangal Arati, every time the Arati comes to us, we must take it. Oh, Radha, Vraj Bihari, Vrindavan Bihari, may you go home, go back to your home safely, because now you will be leaving, and no ill omen will come to you. So like this, that is Sri Radhi. So, so like this, the different parts of the day, and they are simply different dresses, different things that are conducive for Radha and Krishna's performing pastimes. The devotees or the manjaris and gopis offer them. That is Sri Vigraha Aradhana Dhananityanana Sringara Tan Mandir Marjanado. So Tan Mandir Marjanado means we have to, in a humble mood, clean the temple. When we clean the temple, we clean our hearts. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was very exemplary in that Gundicha margin, right? On his own hands and knees he went down, and hundreds of pots were brought, one after another, and Mahaprabhu would guide everyone. Oh, there is some little dust there. Clean it nicely. Krishna is coming to Vrindavan. And the home has to be very clean. And the significance is that Gundicha Mandir is Vrindavan, and we have to make our hearts Vrindavan. When we make our hearts Vrindavan, Krishna, somebody said something the other day, that to one devotee to another devotee, that in our hearts there is Paramatma, but in your heart there is Krishna. So the Vrajendranandan Krishna resides in the hearts of those pure devotees. Narottam Das Thakur says in that bhajan, Ei bar karuna karo Vaishnav Gosai, in that bhajan says, Tumhara hriday sada Govinda Vishram, Govinda kohena Vaishnav Murapran. In your heart, Krishna or Govinda resides in Vishram. Not necessary that although he is there as Paramatma, he is happy or he is relaxed. Vishram means to be relaxed, right? Because of our activities and our karma, we have been behaving in different ways. So he is there as duty. But in the heart of the Vaishnava, he is there very pleased and relaxed. Tumhara hriday sada, always Govinda Vishram. So like this, the different Mahaprabhu's example is exemplary of cleaning. And what is the example that Amrish Maharaj gives in the Bhagavatam? Savai manaha Krishna padaravinda vachansi vaikuntha guna anuvarnane karo harer mandir marjano shrutim chakra achyuta sat katho dedai. What is the use of these senses? So Savai mana Krishna padaravinda. Always our minds have to be attracted to the lotus feet of Krishna. Manaha, our hearts have to be. Vachamsi Vaikuntha Guna. And with our tongue, we should always describe the pastimes of Krishna. A guna anuvartate Vaikuntha, meaning the transcendental realm. That also includes, for us, is Vrindavan. For Amrish Maharaj is Vaikuntha. But our Vaikuntha is Golok Vrindavan or Vraj. So we should always describe Vraj. How Radharan Swami has wonderfully, every step of the way we are going, Govardhan, all the different places in Govardhan, Barsana, Kushal Vihari, Dan Bihari, so many wonderful places. So that is what is known as meditation. It is His Holiness Radharan Maharaj's heart, his meditation, that actually evolved into, and with his sincere disciples, made this place happen. So that is exactly what Amrish Maharaj says. Vachamsi Vaikuntha Guna Anuvarane and Karor Haver Mandir Marjano. Our use of our hands is we clean the temple. The use of our legs is to go to the temple. Like that. Shrutim Chakra Achyuta Sat Kathodaya. We should be describing the transcendental qualities of Achyut, of Krishna. Tava Katha Amritam. Constantly. That's the job of the senses. The nose's job is to smell the tulsi leaves and the flowers that are offered to Krishna. The ears are meant to constantly hear Hari Katha. Tongue is meant for glorifying Krishna, Vaishnavas, and taking Krishna Prasadam. Bhai, Sharira Vidya Jal, Jadendriya Tahekal, Jive Fele Vishya Sagar, Tar Madhye, Jiva, Ati Lobhamai Sudramati, Take Jeta Kathina Samsara. Krishna Bado Dayamoy, Korivare Jivaya, Swa Prasad, Anna Dilo Bhai, Sena Amrita Pao, Sri Radha Krishna, Guna Gao, Preme Dakho Sri, Chaitanya Nitai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has composed this. He's pleading, oh my dear brother, Sharira Vidya Chal, this body is a network of ignorance. Jadendriya Taheka, and simply it is bringing, like the croaking of a frog, it brings the end of their life because the snake comes and knows where the frog is. So when the frog is croaking, craw, 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 trying to attract the female, simply what happens? First the snake is attracted and their life is finished. Jadendriya Tahekal, end of the life. That's what our life span is based on sense gratification, and again and again we die. What is that? Sri Shankaracharya Path said. What is that verse? Bhaja Govinda Mudamate Samprapte Samitakale Nahi Rakshati Dukkarne Janani Jadhare. Again and again you are born in the different species. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Janani Jadhare Shayanam. So that's what our story is in different species of life. So it is only bringing our kal when we don't execute our senses properly. Right? So like this, he is describing how to use our senses. And Yuktascha Bhaktamscha Niyunjadobi Vande Guroho Sri Charnaravinda. So the Acharya, he engages. So here in this platform of Vaidhi Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, Srila Prabhupada and the Varishta Vaishnavas, they engage in Krishna service. Okay, you take Brahman Diksha, you come on, do the deity dressing, do the puja, do the arti of the deities. You engage according to the propensity. You cook nicely, cook for the deities. You sing nicely, do kirtan. You preach nicely, do preaching. So Prabhupada would recognize the qualities and the skills, and accordingly he would engage the devotees. That is the quality of a great Vaishnava. Not that, oh, you don't know how to do this, no, we don't need you. No, there is always something that, and that is why our ISKCON movement is very glorious. Some of the Smarta Brahmanas and so-called worshippers, they will not even consider, even though we may be following with purity, following the four, they are not even sometimes following the four regulative principles, they are even drinking tea. But they will not consider us as qualified to come forward if we offer some seva in the temples, other Vaishnava temples. Let me do some seva, cut vegetables or something. No, you cannot do that. You are not from our sampradaya. So, but in ISKCON, anybody wants to offer services. Okay, you want to wear some nice clean clothes? Matajis wear saris, Prabhujis wear dhoti kurta. Go in the kitchen. Sunday feast is coming. Help with the cutting of the vegetables, etc. Or serving the prasadam. So many different service yuktas. That is the quality of an acharya, to recognize who can do what and not to say no to anyone, because they are coming somehow or the other. Prabhupada. One time Srila Prabhupada was in 26 Second Avenue and he was giving pravachan, speaking on Bhagavad Gita. And as we know, 26 Second Avenue was in the middle of the hippie town, and there they frequently visited by different kinds of hippies. So one hippie drunk, he came and he walked to the door, disturbed, and he went to the bathroom. And then everybody is looking at him. And Prabhupada said, never mind. That is the Acharya, never mind. Then he went inside the bathroom and he came out. 5 minutes later, again he walked in and he was wobbling because he was drunk. And he came back with a toilet paper. And then Prabhupada saw that there was no toilet paper, probably that's why he went and bought in the store. And that's how he even served Srila Prabhupada in the congregation. They just see, Prabhupada said, even he is serving. But that is the quality that we should all develop within our hearts. Yuktas to yukta. Yukta means to engage. Bhaktams chaniyunjatopi. Vande Guroho Sri Charana Ravindam. So I end here today. The verse number 3. Tomorrow we will try to do verse number 4. Morning 8 a.m. And tomorrow afternoon we will continue this session at 11, not at 3. Tomorrow and Sunday. So please make a note. Those who do not have any particular seva assigned to them are most welcome. We already had taken a vote earlier. So at least we had about a few devotees who raised their hands that they will be available. Which room?
This next.
Next room. There is another room there. Not in the terrace.
No,
Next classroom. Okay.
They
So-
are having one Prabhupada disciple, Mahadyuti Maharaj. He is having his Vyas Puja.
Which Maharaj?
Mahadyuti.
Mahadyuti Maharaj. I see.
So he and his group are having their Vyas Puja from here.
I see.
So they will be occupying. This is a combined hall. When you open it, it's in the combined class hall. Yes.
Oh, I see. They opened the doors. Okay. Very nice. Yes. So, any question, comments, corrections? Yes,
I
Prabhuji.
just want to ask about the peacock feather with the Mahaprabhu. Yes, of course, Prabhu is laughing because like in GV we also have peacock feather, and
Again, do not try to see fault even for those who are offering. Okay. Because according to their realizations and the mood, they are offering. So we are Vaidhi Bhaktas. If GBC has decided that we are going to do it, then that's okay. Accept it. Sometimes we will find, even in Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada's statements may apparently be contradictory. You will come across such statements. But Srila Prabhupada is perfect. We accept both. And as per our consciousness and our mood, we will be mature. And then we don't need to kind of, say that, oh, this is not the mood of Rupa Goswami. No. As an example, even if we have that information. So we accept it. It's a bona fide sanstha and institution. So we should, why the authorities are doing, so they already had a scholarship board that said that it's okay to offer Mahaprabhu but I don't understand it personally. But that doesn't mean that there's no other reasons why it is not offered. So, but for me, it is personally speaking, I really take to this thought process that why should I disturb the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he is in Radha mood, Radha bhav? Then when it's so hard, Sarup Damodar Goswami and Rai Ramanand by singing Chandidas, Vidyapati, Jaydev Goswami, all those songs, getting that mood of Mahabhav in him, and then suddenly somebody says that, hey, wake up, you are not Radharani's mood, you are Krishna, and then that whole thing comes crashing. That's what used to happen even sometimes when Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, when he would, even behind closed doors, they would fall asleep. Sarup Damodar Goswami guarding the door because in his ecstatic mood he would run away and fall into the ocean, thinking it's Yamuna, or climb the Chatak Parvat. And sometimes he would get into this Ashtasattvic Vikars where Mahaprabhu's body would extend 3 times the length. Mahaprabhu was about 6.5 feet. So about 20 feet his body would extend. And sometimes he would become like a turtle, like a ball. And he would be in front of the Simhadar in his ecstasy, and the cows would lick. And Sarup Damodar Goswami and the other devotees would come looking for Mahaprabhu, and they would find a jhund of cows, a whole group of cows, and in the middle they would see that Mahaprabhu's hands and legs had receded like a ball, and the cows were licking, and a very aromatic fragrance would emanate. So, this is all upon the devotee's consciousness. That is why Prabhupada has very wonderfully termed Krishna consciousness. What is our level of consciousness? We should act, not run that day when we will fall. Slowly and surely it will dawn upon us. The realizations will come, and then we can act accordingly. So, the answer is we accept both based on our consciousness.
Just like one day, like I was discussing with all the devotees. So, and our altar basically we do we worship Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu as like the Mahaprabhu's before taking sannyas, like we put hairs, then shringas. So that form of the Mahaprabhu do we worship?
Very nice question. We worship that form because at that time Mahaprabhu is a preacher. And preaching is the essence. But for those, regardless, for example, I'll give a very simple example. If somebody is, say, 50 years old, and if they get, like the mother or father, they open the old album from their childhood, it's the same person, right? It's the same person. 50-year-old person presently, but in the past was a very cute child. So that remembrance comes to those the other way around. And Mahaprabhu, after taking sannyas, he entered into the Gambhira and he got the mood of Srimati Radharani. So for the advanced devotees, although they see the Grihastha Mahaprabhu with the long hair prior to sannyas, but they see in him the Mahaprabhu in ecstasy, as we find in Jagannath Puri. Therefore, Jagannath Puri by Gaudiya Vaishnavas is also called Viyogini Radha Kshetra, because the maximum Viyog happens in that Gambhira that Mahaprabhu attains by ultimately getting Srimati Radharani's mood. So does this kind of help in understanding? It's the same person, different picture, but the consciousness is different. Because you cannot have on the altar both. So we have to set a standard. You cannot have a clean shaven Mahaprabhu on the altar, and at the same time in another temple we have the wonderful beautiful hair, the long haired Grihastha Mahaprabhu. We cannot have that. So because we are Vaidhi Bhaktas, the preaching is the essence. So Mahaprabhu preached. He was a teacher of the Gurukul, and later on he simply preached. Even after taking sannyas he preached. So that never stopped. But then he stopped preaching the last 12 years. He went into seclusion for his internal bhajan. The external bhajan he did prior to that. After taking sannyas, for 12 years he preached. He went around, did the Padayatra and everything. After that, he went into seclusion. Most of the time into seclusion. Sometimes he would give darshan to some of his associates and even give instructions. But preaching had become minimum. That happens. Like there comes a time where preaching, some of them want to preach till their last breath, which is perfect actually. And that is even what my internal mood is, and I seek the blessings. Till my last breath, I should be able to describe the different pastimes and also the tattva, the philosophy. So I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas that I'll be able to do that. That is also, but some mood is that, okay, now I will go into like the internal mood of a Paramahansa, like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He did a lot of preaching, he wrote many books, but the last stage of his life, he went into reclusive bhajan. So that happens. So from the Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari stage, they go back to their original Uttamadhikari state. They are Uttamadhikaris always, but they have to come down to Madhyamadhikari to preach. But later on, they don't preach because they have got that mood that who am I going to preach? Look how fallen I am. And they go into those ecstatic moods. The mood of Srimati Radharani is so humble. So they feel the same thing because they are Manjaris. So when they are in that mood, humility is a very natural thing for them. That they feel that they are like a worm in a stool, like Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami. Yes, Mataji.
So thank you. I'm audible enough. So thank you.
I do it for the recording.
Sure.
Yeah, because questions when devotees ask, there is a multiple benefit. One for the self and also it benefits others.
Absolutely.
And there is some online as well. So thank you for.
I totally accept that.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, thank you so much for so beautifully churning the milk and bringing about the deeper import of every verse. So, my question is.
All glories to Guru and Gauranga.
So, my question is that this is an extremely high transcendental subject matter, and as you had mentioned in the beginning, it's like getting into Oxford.
Getting into a?
Into an Oxford, Stanford.
Okay.
It's like that. So how do we kind of?
No, I mentioned that in a different context, but
Yeah.
but okay, your example is good. I understand what you're trying to say. Yeah.
So how to kind of get deeper realizations, because this is not like something which is mundane or ordinary. This is like extremely high, and what we got is like a Paris money. It's not ordinary. So how to kind of develop our mood or cultivate ourselves in the sense where we can get deeper realizations, because ultimately it has to translate into realizations. If it doesn't translate into realizations, it's like, we are not really doing anything or really progressing. So how to kind of really get into that state?
Nice question. Yesterday's session I had mentioned, you were not there. Yeah, so you can kind of catch up with the other 3 sessions online if you wish to. We have to come into, eventually, to reach that stage, Raganuga Bhakti, we have to very nicely and diligently follow all instructions of Srila Prabhupada. Vaidhi Bhakti has to be top notch. And when we do that, then we qualify ourselves to Chakshudane Dilo Jai Janme Janme Pravesai Divya Gyan Hrida Pakarshana. So Prabhupada or our Acharyas will reveal all those higher subject matters, and those realizations will start pouring in. And that greed will develop when we reach after the stage of, right now we are struggling with our Anartha Nivriti. So after that is done, then the stage of Nishtha Ruchi, Asakti, where that Nishtha Ruchi will develop that greed. Right now, that we sometimes get, when we hear such topics, we develop slight greed, and that is why your question is based on that slight greed that perhaps you have developed. That is why you are asking this question. Otherwise, you would not be asking this one. But it has to be consistent. Ahetuki apratiyata. When we sometimes get a certain ecstasy, or even we chant sometimes nicely, we feel good about it, but we are not consistent. Because our sadhana is not up to par. We are not strictly following what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do. Somewhere or the other, there is some trutis or errors that we are succumbed to, not attending morning program. I mentioned that in my previous katha in one of the sessions. Yesterday only I mentioned. Srila Prabhupada said, even Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, that if you attend the morning program, early morning you wake up, I guarantee you will not even fall sick. So when a great Vaishnava Acharya like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur makes a statement like that, Krishna must listen. I quoted that example of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's song, and the introductory song of Sharanagati. Sharanga Sharanagati hoi vichar tar pratna sune Brajendra Kumar. If one is fully surrendered with the 6 branches of surrender, and then Brajendra Kumar, the son of Nanda Maharaj, must listen to you. Must. The word is must. Sune. Sometimes we wonder that, I am in this movement for so long, I have been chanting 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and sometimes I pray to Krishna, but why is he not listening? Sometimes he listens, sometimes he doesn't listen. Then we have to counter question ourselves. Are we Shradanga Sharanagat? Do we have the 6 branches of Sharanagati within us? So why should he listen? He is the transcendental debauchee. He can do as he please. Ashlesha padaratam pinashtuma. As you please, you do. So right now we are in no position to dictate. But when we have the Shradanga Sharanagat, we are in a position to dictate that we become a part of Srimati Radharani's camp. That bhav, that Ekadash bhav will come. And at that time, we get that mood of Srimati Radharani, and then we can even chastise Krishna. Like Gaurkishna Babaji Maharaj. In a different setting, when he was in Navadvip, he was like an avdut. So some of the kids used to make fun of him. Sometimes they would even pelt him with small pebbles. So he would be very upset. He said, Krishna, why they are doing this to me? I will complain to Yashoda mother. That you're stopping them from doing that. So that relationship can only be established when we are situated in the Raganuga platform. And that comes with following the instructions. We want PhD, but we don't want to go through the 10th grade, 12th grade, undergrad, grad, masters. We want to immediately jump to PhD. Srila Prabhupada gives this example that when newlyweds, they just have been married, and everybody in the family, especially in India, also now when will we have a grandchild? The parents will immediately start, prodding those thoughts in their minds. But Prabhupada said, what Rupa Goswami said, Nishchaya Dhairya. Dhairya is important. Minimum 9 months you all have to wait before a new child is born in the family. Right? So similarly, we cannot expect these transformations right away, because no Lord Narayana is coming and putting a shankha on our head like in Dhruv Maharaj's head or Prahlad Maharaj's head, and that ecstasy starts emanating and all those prayers emanate. Right? So Mataji, the point is that we have to follow very nicely, and it will happen. I gave this example yesterday on Raganuga Bhakti, that it is not some classes of Bhakti Shastri or Bhakti Vaibhav that now we will have the next stage will be Raganuga Bhakti classes. No. No. It will manifest within our heart. And the example is that if a boy and girl, they are in love with each other, then they don't go to get to how to make love. They don't take coaching classes for that. It just happens, they know that I am in love. So similarly, when we have that qualification, it will just happen. And then slowly and surely, from the different stages of after Anartha Nivritti, we will cross the different stages of Nishtha, Ruchi, all that, Asakti and Bhav, and then the final stage of Krishna Prema, and that too in Madhurya Rasa and Mahabhav. So that is our system. But the thing is that such inquiries and such desires, when they become consistent, Krishna makes those arrangements. Then Krishna sends like-minded devotees. He doesn't send them to everyone to discuss rasa or to discuss the higher topics. He sends them to those, at some point, they had that utkantha, they had that longing in their hearts. So, but that longing has to be continuous. And then more and more is fed. If it is not continuous, then it dwindles away. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I think in Harinam Chintamani or some other place, he explains that when the Vaidhi Bhakti is there, and even before Raganuga Bhakti, we get these waves. These waves of emotions. We feel so good at one time, and then suddenly, because our sadhana is not good, on those days we feel horrible. Madhuri Kadumini. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He is explaining that. But somewhere also in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's purport, maybe he is quoting Madhuri Kadumini. So there, those waves are there. But those waves will be converted when we enter Raganuga Bhakti in the mood of the Mahabhav. Because they also have those waves, but they are of the very highest transcendental quality. The high waves is when they are in union with Krishna, and the low wave is when there is separation. They feel that burning separation. As I had mentioned this morning, that what is that? Davanal. That Davanal for us is the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, birth, death, old age, disease. The Tapotray, the 3 times of miseries, Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik and Adi Devik Kleshas. That is for us. But for the Raganuga Bhakta or for the Vrajvasis, especially the highest is burning like a forest fire is when there is separation from Krishna. So I explained that this morning, Mataji. It is there, it is given. So that has double meanings. And that is the sadhana of the Acharya giving the example to the Vaidhi Bhaktas, and then there is his own internal sadhana. So when he feels that samsara is davanal, a novel leader inflicted, that is when there is deep separation. Because Radharani feels that, the Manjaris feel exactly like Radharani, non-different. That is the beauty. In this material world, there are 2 friends or there is a relationship. Let's say they love each other, or 2 loving friends, they have that. But nobody can have the exact same feelings. One friend may have, if there is some kind of a measurement for the love, if there's a meter, it is never going to show identical reading. It is never going to show. But for Manjaris, there is an identical reading as Srimati Radharani. That is the uniqueness of the Manjaris. That's why they don't want to give up their position. Not for their own sense gratification, but for what?
Pleasing Lord Krishna and Radha.
To give to that pleasure, offer it to Radharani, Radha Krishna through the succession. That is the. So we should collect as many as bliss, the pearls of bliss. Collect them more and more and more, so that we can offer more and more and more.
Thank you so much.
Did that satisfy your
Yeah,
query?
it did.
What are you studying?
I've come here to study Bhakti Vaibhav.
Okay, so you are studying 10th canto?
I
Or
don't
third?
know. I'm in Canto 3.
Sorry?
Canto 3, Volume 2.
Canto 3, Volume 2.
Yes.
Very nice. Hare Krishna. So may you all be attracted by Krishna more and more as you are studying. My humble request is, don't take it academically. When we try to mix, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that somewhere, because our experience is material, we try to use that experience in our spiritual lives. Oil and water will never mix. So our material experiences, if we try to apply them on spiritual domain, it will not work out. And therefore, our experience that we have to gather for the spiritual world or the spiritual consciousness is by following the Acharyas. Not with our own buddhaya tikaya, not with our own logic and reason. Then we will never succeed. So, we all went to school, college, and we obtained degrees, academics, and some of them have this desire that as many degrees I can get under my belt, I want to get them. But let's not apply it in this spiritual domain. I want to get these degrees, the different courses, so that hopefully by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, I will be able to give this valuable Krishna consciousness to others. Assist Srila Prabhupada, just like Prahlad Maharaj wants to assist Naradji with that purpose. Not to increase our false ego, not to receive service from others. Because the moment we become good preachers, naturally devotees will want to serve us. And then if we get used to that and not serve them, then it is Srama eva hi kevalam. We have observed that it happens. So we should also do some menial services, even if we have become the topmost preacher. If we have get that, if we are blessed with that, we should. And then only the essence of Das Anudas is understood. Otherwise, what's the point of taking all these courses with the material mindset of academia and becoming boss Anubas? Or others will serve me and I will accept their service. No. We find that in the writings of the Vaishnavacharyas, every bhajan, so much humility. They are the topmost preachers. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was a very strong preacher. But whenever even his own disciples bowed down to him, you know what he said? Daso asmi. I am your servant. Very, very softly, he would say that. Daso asmi. That was his conscience. Because by preaching, I am serving you. So that you will become Krishna conscious and you will take to this sublime process. dharmastha tattam nihitam guhyam mahajana jena gata sapanta. Following in the footsteps of the acharyas. So that is also service. Even when Srila Prabhupada said, you rascal, try to understand. This morning we gave this example of Dr. Bhogilal Patel when he is in the morning walks, when he said he was a scholar, dry scholar. He had studied many different scriptures including Bhagavad Gita. So he asked Swamiji, he had that rapport with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada would love that because through him, the questions he asked and defeating him would be a perfect example with all his disciples following him on the morning walk. So then they would know how to preach. Prabhupada in the morning walks was some of the best preachings, we can say so. Through practical examples, Prabhupada preached. So he said that in Pandita Samadarshina, and Bhagavad Gita says, so Swamiji, you are a Pandit. You have to look upon everybody equally. Why you are calling these scientists rascals? So Prabhupada simply laughed and he said, he took his lathi, his cane, and he pointed it all his Western disciples. Pandita Samadarshina means we give Krishna consciousness equally to everyone. It's not that we only elect and select. In certain sampradayas, only the seminal line or their children and their grandchildren will only be given this shastric knowledge, and to others they will not impart or preach. And that is why preaching is so important. Preaching is the essence. So preaching is a great service as long as, excuse me, as long as it is not meant for sense gratification. The moment it takes the form of sense gratification, then it becomes jnana, not bhakti. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wish that all of you become great preachers and serve His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada and his sincere followers. Yes, anything else? Mataji, you have to say something? Bless me, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, thank you very much. We will end here. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., this topic will continue and about Guruvashtakam. And again, the whole idea of taking this topic in detail with whatever intelligence I have or whatever little I know is to understand who our acharyas are, how fortunate we are. As far as we are concerned, we should not be worried of going back to Godhead in this life. Let it take millions of lifetimes, but let us go in the right path and please Srimati Radharani and Shyam Sundar. Please the most intimate associates of Srimati Radharani. Like Murari Gupta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that I will not even see him, I will see him in a million lifetimes. So Murari Gupta started dancing. Oh, at least Mahaprabhu will see me in a million lifetimes. That was his mood. Because he was not called in the Mahaprakash. Am I correct? In that? Oh, Mukunda. No, sorry, Mukunda, not Murari. Mukunda. So Mukunda. So that is the mood of a Vaishnava. And no, there is no rush to go home back to Godhead. Back to Godhead is here. It is just not a geographical location, it is also a consciousness. Jatha Vaishnava Gana Sahi Sthan Vrindavan. Wherever there are great Vaishnavas, that place itself becomes Vrindavan. Is this not Vrindavan? It is Vrindavan. A new Vrindavan in West Virginia is Vrindavan. Because that's the consciousness. That is why. It is just not geographical. So, Prabhupada came here and brought Vrindavan to the entire world through his Bhaktivedanta purports and his lectures. So that is our goal. I mentioned that this morning, that when Nrsimhadev was so pleased, he asked me a benediction, Prahlad. So Prahlad said, no, deliver my father. He said, that's already done, 21 generations in the past, 21 generations yet to come because you are a Bhakta, Prahlad. So ask me. So he said, if you want to give me something, give me two things. Number one, no material desire should come in my heart. And number two, the most prominent is that my Guru Maharaj, Srila Naradji, is going all over the creation, the world, preaching Krishna consciousness. Let me assist him. I don't need to go to Vaikuntha. So our prayers should be like that, if we are very sincere, that birth after birth after birth, we should assist His Divine Grace wherever He is. Going back to Godhead is not important. We can bring back to Godhead wherever we are by purifying ourselves very nicely and assisting, becoming the true Das. Prabhupada said, go, if you chant minimum 16 good rounds, follow the 4, you will go back to Godhead in this life. Yes, it is more or less like in the early days, this is my understanding, that he gave the praloban or the enticement. Just like a father or mother says, you do your homework, I will give you ice cream. Do it nicely. So that would be the impetus, so that they will start chanting, follow the programs, etc. But none of our acharyas have asked for the darshan. Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada quoted, we have to catch these important sentences. Don't try to see Krishna, but perform your service in such a way that when Krishna desires, he will see you. So where are we, putting that in context? Every other person is talking about going back to Godhead. So that is also all right. But then if we want to be really Preshta, like Prabhupada, Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale, then we have to be in that category, those league of devotees amongst even the Siddhas, amongst even the most perfected devotees of Vaikuntha and Golok. We have to be in that inner group. Not everybody is in the inner group of Srimati Radharani as the Swapaksha gopis. I forgot to mention the other two groups. There's Swapaksha, Vipaksha, and the other two, the general categories are neutral, which is Tathastha, and there is Surud gopis. So the example of the Tathastha or Surud gopi, we can say, is Yamuna Devi. She is one of the consorts of Krishna, and she is equally merciful to the Vipaksha and also the Swapaksha gopis, Yamune Maharani. So like that, there are some who are equipoised, but the Swapaksha gopis, no, just Radharani. And as an example, and I will end this. One time Raghunath Das Goswami, and as you all know, he was really the embodiment of Vairagya. And he chanted minimum 3 lakhs, 18-19 hours a day, slept only 1.5 hours. And then some Nitya Karma he did, like bathing and all that. And he only had maybe a cup of chas, buttermilk. That was his meal. So much Vairagya. Just see. Every 3 days. Yes. So, one time, one Vrajvasi came and brought him that buttermilk cup that was made of a leaf cup, dona, we call it in Hindi, right? As soon as he saw it, he became very upset and he threw it away. Take it away from here. And everybody was shocked. Das Gosai is such a gentle Vaishnava. How is he displaying such a mood? So then the explanation is that leaf cup came from the tree of Chandravali's Kund, which is Vipaksha Gopi. So I don't even want to do anything with Chandravali or the Vipaksha Gopis, because they keep away Srimati Radharani, my Radha, from Krishna. They keep Krishna with them constantly, and my Radharani is suffering in separation. So that way that mood is there. And that way he went hungry that night and he didn't take anything. That is the mood. Radha Dasyam is the highest. So along the course of this next few verses, we will describe some examples of what our acharyas are. We have to appreciate them. But if we don't hear about them, we will not be able to appreciate them. On the informational basis, that realization will come when it will come. When their greed arises. Constantly their greed. We all have greed in us, don't we? So we will discuss it in the next verse. No, the verse after that. After Chaturvidhasi, Bhagavad Prasad. Thank you all very much for patiently listening, giving me the opportunity to share this sublime Guruvashtakam, and it's just a little bit of a glimpse. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad ki, Srila Prabhupada, all Prabhupadas ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Somebody has to stop this? Hari Bol?
Yeah, he will come. He will come.
Acha.
possible.
If you can just come and leave.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण। इसी बंद हो गया क्या बाद में?
Like I
Yeah, it's not working on you.
या
know,